We've also got CEBL playoffs going on, the majors rolling on, golf. Everything's happening. Today on the show, we will continue our look around the NFL training camps. And today, kind of a coincidence, we lined our guest up prior to the contract news of Jonathan Taylor signing his extension with the Indianapolis Colts. We'll head down there. Talk to James Boyd, covers the team for The Athletic, also a co-host on 107.5 The Fan. There's lots of things to look at here with this team. Obviously, the division, there's some good competition. I think it's winnable. They've got some players. They lost some players. Michael Pittman leaving the team. They paid Alec Pierce. They've got Ty Warren, Jonathan Taylor. How will Daniel Jones be? Maybe the bigger question. And then defensively, what's it looking like? We'll find out later on in the show. Of course, take your text to 1-833-401-1440, or you can hop on YouTube, Sports 1440 AM. Check us out there. I'm hopping in the chat right now. Brandon Douglas, Donovan Paulson, Connor the intern here as well. Brando, good morning. How's it going?
Con man, good morning.
You cold in here today? It's freezing outside.
It's a little more brisk. Well, yeah, according to Tom Gazzola, it's freezing outside.
It is.
11 degrees, I think my truck said on the drive in. And then he follows that up with the audacity to ask Spec, well, Spec, it's kind of cold. Are you going to watch the Jays and Cubs game from your deck or inside? Spec still says, of course I'm going to watch it on the deck. It's middle of the day. Beautiful. And then Tom says, what the hell do you do all day? To which I think caught Spec a little bit off guard, and he had a hard time filling out his entire day with activity. So a good laugh for all of us in studio at around 8 o'clock this morning. It is a little brisk in here today. The ice box, as the studio has at times been called, has made its triumphant return. And no qualms whatsoever. I will take this 100 times out of 100 over the alternative when there's a power outage or something happens here in the mall over a weekend and we come back overnight or over a weekend, whatever the case, and the AC is not working at all.
Yeah.
And it is not the ice box, it's the sweat box. It's a sauna in this room. It's unbearable.
Yeah, it's tough.
You factor that with sitting right beside all these giant computers and science boxes to the left of me. They emanate a lot of heat. I'm good with the AC being on full tilt in here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
No issues whatsoever.
My only issue, so I'm wearing my little elk sweater here. You know, if in case you didn't know, I host their watch parties when they're on the road. Castlewood Pub this weekend, 1 o'clock, when they take on the Alouettes. But they hooked me up with this sweet kind of retro jacket. And I thought, you know what? It's probably too warm for that. I was wrong. It's cold outside. We're not used to it right now. We will adapt, obviously, but I could have worn it. And it's a sweet jacket. So maybe I'll bust that one out tomorrow. I'm looking forward to this game against the Alouettes. The team leaving today, heading out to the Eastern time zone, so leaving a day before, try to get acclimated, ready for that one. It's a 1 o'clock start, 3 o'clock out there. We'll kind of see, I guess, the final depth chart tomorrow when it comes out here. Nick Anderson practicing the last couple of days here.
David Beard also practicing.
David Beard, that's big.
Full participant.
Now, DeBlanco popped up there with the hamstring. That's not necessarily a great thing, but we'll see. We've seen that this team has depth if they're tested. Kenny Logan Jr. as well was having a little bit of a knee issue, it looked like. So there are some concerns, but this depth has been tested, and it's shown that they can play. Now, we do have 3 rounds with Donovan Paulson. His first question may have been used recently. So
Donovan just shows not a listener of the show.
Yeah, it's discouraging. We might give him a break because he was away province.
Yeah.
No excuse, really.
He's out of state. He did come in with a replacement question, though.
Okay, well, good. I just wanted to make sure because I sent an email, but I didn't think I got an email back. Evidently, I am a little too slow to check my email. It says I have 2 emails, but there's nothing here. But I do have something from Booster Juice, the maple sweet potato wrap.
That sounds unreal.
Maybe we'll have to swing by.
I do have a gift card.
Well, use your cash money.
Freebie.
Double D says, hey guys, any idea where Coulter Woodmansey comes back out? Yeah, we asked that to Declan yesterday. Not really sure. I mean, it's the 6th week, and then we knew it'd be a little bit longer. We don't know exactly when it will be, but if Deck's down at practice, maybe he can try to get an update from coach, and we can pass it along to you at Double D. Right now, why don't we get into it? It's 3 rounds with not Josh Fenwick, but Donovan Paulson.
Want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
Round 1. Alrighty, fellas. So the first one up here, my subsequent replacement question, who will go down as the more iconic Toronto Blue Jay, Kevin Gausman or George Springer?
This is a really good question to start with. Do I get to go first today?
Sure.
Okay. I actually kind of not sure I wanted to go first.
Do you want me to go first?
No, I'm going to go first because I'm just going to use the similar data that I did. Oh man, that is tough. You know what? No, I'm going to say George Springer. Two guys that have lived up to every bit of the free agent contracts that they signed. Springer 6 years ago now. Gausman 5, or do I got those years right, Donnie?
Yeah, it'd be 6 and 5.
Springer here 1 year ahead of Gausman, correct? And obviously they went to the playoffs that year, lost the Rays, and then Gausman making the playoffs in all but one of his appearances. Springer here for each of those seasons. The reason I'll take Springer over Gausman is just the front and center nature of a leadoff hitter, prominent player, everyday player, as opposed to a pitcher going out every fifth day. Springer hitting his reputation as a playoff performer was part of the reason why Toronto went out and got him as a free agent in the first place and paid him a ton of money coming here. Here being the Blue Jays organization. He just continued that as a Blue Jay, and this past fall's run to the World Series, I think, just doubled down on that nature. Right, his track record with the Astros was tremendous. He just added to it. So he's climbing the ranks. All-time leadoff home runs. His impact as a leadoff guy has been good. Down season this year, almost to be expected, and I don't think anybody with any realistic expectations thought he could duplicate what he did last year, which surprised a lot of us. So I'll take Springer. If for no reason other than the fact that he's hitting or playing almost every day, as opposed to Gausman, who is as a starting pitcher out there every fifth start.
Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree with you because you go back and you look at the resumes that each were an all-star one time with the Toronto Blue Jays. Gausman led the league in strikeouts. Sorry, the AL. You had the Silver Slugger for Springer when he was here, but I'm watching it right now. Game 7 against the Seattle Mariners.
That's
the statement moment for him and for this pitcher. With all due respect, Gausman, I know he loved Toronto and the Toronto Blue Jays fans love him. What's his statement moment?
Yeah.
Like when I think back to that playoffs, I got Trey Savage striking out Shohei.
Right.
And give him that look kind of. And I've got this, and I've got Bo's hit home run as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like to me, guys, it's just you think of statement moments, and look at where my screen's paused. Look at that Mariner; he's so sad. What a moment that was. Game 7 when we were like, "Is this it? Is this when it comes to an end?" And then, boom! Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. So yeah, sorry I kind of cut you off there, Duke. But for me, I can't disagree with you. I think it's close, but I give the slight edge to Springer.
And it's funny because in or out this morning, I said Kevin Gausman is the most important pitcher the Jays have had since Roy Halladay's departure. And like Halladay, an iconic Hall of Famer, all these things. But Gausman's dependability, reliability, and his tenure here is unbelievable. And I talked about it because you're right. His playoff stretch, while solid, didn't necessarily have that defining moment, which unless you're throwing a complete game or throwing a no-no through 6 or 7 innings as a playoff starter, right? It's tougher to get that iconic thing, save maybe one big strikeout, or if you're on the defending side as an away team in a clinching game, which the Jays weren't really often. And usually those moments went to Jeff Hoffman or someone of the bullpen because we didn't see any guys go the distance in that playoff run. So it's with the utmost respect to what Kevin Gausman accomplished in that uniform. But we know, like the Jose Bautista home run lives forever. The Edwin Encarnacion walk-off against the Orioles, it lives forever. George Springer's in the ALCS, it falls in that exact same category. Maybe even more so. Is it the best, second only to Joe Carter's World Series home run in 93? I think there's a case to be made.
Ooh, give me Joey Bats, man. Number 2.
It was to go to the World Series.
But just going back,
Springer one, man.
the Springer, like it's
I gotta
massive,
disagree with
but
you there, Cons.
everything that led up to
the Bautista, like,
no, you were 3 years old, Donovan. You don't remember.
Context matters so much around that Bautista one because
Everything that led
the
into
drama of the top half of that inning, just insanity. Martin throwing off the bat and then the run score, it's craziness.
The
and
pop that it had.
Bautista comes out and just yams one. The flip. So
Jays fans were throwing beers on the field.
it was unreal. It was unreal. But I think context also matters around Springer, where the moment was that much bigger in a CS game, Game 7, all that stuff. So I'll still give the edge to Springers. but I never thought I genuinely didn't think I'd ever see a home run that would be bigger than Jose Bautista's. I'm glad I got to do that.
I'm not saying one's 2 and one's 7. One's 2 and one's 3, but man, come on. I was fist pumping. I was punching the air when Bautista hit that shot.
So cool.
Sorry to discredit you via your age, Donovan. That was a low blow.
Yeah, low hanging fruit. Cons.
Well, I get old a lot now, so I gotta fight back.
Very true.
Round 2.
Number 2 here, fellas, was last season. Of course, we're going to be talking Colts here in about 10 minutes or so. Was last season the start of the new Daniel Jones, or was it just an aberration?
Yeah, I mean, we know what they hope for the money they paid him and all that sort of thing. He says he's feeling good. He's moving around practice. All right. I'm going to say that this is the new Daniel Jones. And like, let's not get too crazy. The numbers weren't like mind blowing, but he was kind of benefiting from a really good run game. I think the play calling was exquisite. We'll see without Pittman. Can Pierce be that number one guy? We shall see. But they've also got Jonathan Taylor, and Tyler Warren, I think, is going to be a massive weapon for him to go along here. Like you go back to those. How did he start the season? 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Then he ramped it up, 2 touchdowns in a couple games, then 3, then back to 1. So like I don't think he was necessarily going out there lighting it up at Peyton Manning fashion, but I think this is the guy he can be. Take care of the football, complete 70% of your passes, and make sure you establish the run. And I think he can be that guy. So I will say this is the guy he is.
This is the guy he is, but is it to the question itself? It's just an aberration in the sense of the level of success that the team was having, because you're right. Like everything just seemed to go the Colts' way. They faced a relatively easier schedule. You look at the losses they picked up while he was under center, and it was to the Rams, shocker, good team, and then eventually the Steelers, who we knew would eventually be a playoff team. But a couple impressive wins, Chargers, Denver early in the season, obviously as well. But it's kind of weird because I'm almost in between here, where this is the Daniel Jones, but it's the fact that the team had the level of success they did before he got hurt. That was the aberration. I think he's just an average starting quarterback, maybe slightly below. So I don't think the Colts are going to be a contender inside this division. Might they be flirting with a wild card spot? Potentially, but you move on from your number one receiver. I know that's away from the point of this question itself, but I think that the aberration is the success for Daniel Jones on a team level more so than necessarily an individual basis.
Final round.
The final round, as you just heard, I'm going to say, if you could bring back one pro sports franchise, would you bring back the Nordiques or the Montreal Expos?
Question.
Yes.
Is this they re-enter their respective leagues as an expansion franchise, or the original team returns to the previous location?
Probably expansion franchise, because what are the odds that those respective teams go back to the spot that they left?
What are the odds either of these teams are an expansion franchise? Slightly higher than the previous one.
That is true, but I mean, it's all fun and games, right? I would say these would be probably expansion franchises back to their old homes, because the reality of the situation is, if a team goes right back to where it came from, that's usually a pretty bad sign. And I don't think in either situation, like, let's be real here, the Avs are not going anywhere, and the Nationals are not going back to Montreal. So they would be new franchises.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to test you a little bit, see how you'd handle the pressure. I'll take the Nordiques. The Expos were around more recently than the Nordiques, but that still predates me as a invested sports fan. I was very young when they moved. I was not born, or just born, right when the Nordiques moved to Colorado. I think the Nordiques logo is one of the best in the history of sports. The color combination is unreal. I would love to see those uniforms back in action. And as a more invested hockey fan than baseball fan, I think the Nordiques as that natural rival to the Habs would be awesome. The Expos, they'd create a natural rivalry with Toronto, I guess, depending on what league they play in. How often would they even play each other over the course of a season? I'll take the Nordiques as a hockey fan because I think Quebec City and Quebec as a province is more deserving of another hockey team than they are of a baseball team.
Yeah, we got enough Canadian hockey teams right now. I'm going to go with the Montreal Expos. And I was not an Expos guy. I asked for a Blue Jays jersey, got an Expos jersey, was so mad, did not want it. I'm glad I got it now since they don't exist. But they could just look at those Expos teams. Man, the year they were having, they were first in the East. They're 74-40, and the season gets canceled. Man, that alone makes me want them to get a shot at redemption here.
The Quebec Nordiques franchise won the Stanley Cup the next season.
Yeah,
after they left,
they won. They did. You're right.
But so Quebec got robbed. Quebec's the Nordiques fans got robbed.
They did. So did the.
We don't know.
So did the Montreal Expos.
We don't know.
By a lockout season.
We don't know.
At least those fans probably still cheered for Joe Sakic. And
I don't know.
Maybe
I think the resentment
maybe they
there
cheered
might
on
have
those
been,
guys.
They would have just all immediately became Habs fans.
Oh, some for sure. But I think some would have been like, you know what? I don't have a team anymore. I might as well root for the guys that 2 months ago I loved. Stick with it. So maybe they got a chance to celebrate that one.
They root for the clothes, Connor. We've been over this. The Jerry Seinfeld bit. You're just cheering for the clothes. They're wearing different clothes now. I hate them.
Not
They're
me.
wearing my team's clothes. I love them.
I mean, somewhat true. But anyways, I go back to what I'm saying here. Montreal Expos, we need more baseball teams in Canada. We had the little flirtation with Vancouver. I don't think that's going to work out. Personally, I don't see any of these things happening. But if I had to pick one, I want a second Major League Baseball team. I want that Canada matchup between the the Expos and the Blue Jays. You can give us the Nationals maybe as well as a consolation prize. But yeah, I'm going to lean towards just a little bit to the Montreal Expos. They never got that championship until 2019 as the Nationals. And by then it was too late. Shout out Steven Strasburg. Well,
Shout out Scherzer.
Fun addition. Yeah, there you go. Another one. When we come back, we're going to continue our look around the NFL. We'll head down to Indianapolis, talk some Colts. It is The Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit JapaEquipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at Cantork.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs.
I brought the sunscreen.
I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Not sure what wheels fit your vehicle? Evolve Wheels and Tires gives you honest advice from enthusiasts who know fitment inside and out. Whether it's your truck, SUV, or sports car, they have you covered. Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience. Legendary is here with BetMGM Casino. Download now to check out over 4,000 casino games, including exclusive slots like Survivor and hundreds of live dealer games. Unlock Vegas magic and sign up for the BetMGM app. See BetMGM.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Get your lineups and laughs right here on The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440, presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
It's 11:22. Welcome back to the Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, we've got Donovan Paulson, Connor the intern here as well, as we get you through the 11 o'clock hour before we hand things over to the lowdown with Low Tide. And of course, second segment, we are going to go around the NFL, taking a look at all the NFL training camps, alphabetically, of course. And today, the timing probably could not have been better, as Jonathan Taylor agreeing to terms on a 2-year, $44 million extension with the Colts. Is a maximum value of 47, with 39 of which guaranteed. The third largest deal for an NFL running back in history. And it's interesting because we knew Bijan was going to get his, Jahmyr Gibbs was going to get his, and I really like this move from the Colts to reward one of their guys with this extension. And we're going to talk about it here as we head it down to Indianapolis. And there's plenty of things we can talk about. I think Donovan Paulson actually had a really good question there in regards to Daniel Jones and what he can become. And, you know, is this the guy from what we saw last year? Is that what he's going to be? We're joined by James Boyd, covers the Colts for The Athletic, also a co-host on 107.5 The Fan. James, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk ball with you guys.
Well, glad to have you on the show here. Really looking forward to looking at this. And I want to ask you, because we knew some of these deals were coming for running backs in the NFL. Bijan got his, Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm sure we'll get one soon. But quietly, the Colts get in there and extend Jonathan Taylor. Do you think this is just kind of goodwill and making sure he's happy being the franchise cornerstone?
Yeah, I had that story pre-written for months now. At this point, it felt like they would have gotten something done. Did reach out this morning just to see, okay, where are we at? You know, just checking. And of course, as soon as you send a text message, 5 minutes later, it gets reported by others, and then sources get back to you. That's how it works sometimes in the game. But yeah, he deserved it. I felt like the structure of the deal kind of mattered more than the deal itself. For example, I never expected a 27-year-old running back to get another 3-year deal done like the last deal he signed, but a 2-year deal kind of makes sense given what he's done over the last couple of seasons. Last year, JT led the league in total touchdowns with 20, and he's coming off back-to-back seasons with at least 1,400 rushing yards. So he's on pace right now, you all, to perhaps one day have a spot in Canton, Ohio as a Hall of Famer. I don't say that as a joke or as a homer. If you look at his career averages, he's averaging 90 yards per game, 90.5 for his career. That is 5th all-time, and the 4 guys ahead of him are all Hall of Famers. So he's been that good for this team.
Yeah, I mean, averaging 4.9 yards per carry. I remember LaDainian Tomlinson talking about how 5 yards one season was his goal. To do that 4.9 yards over your career is incredible. 18 touchdowns last year on the ground. Now, for the second consecutive year, he did have over 300 carries. You mentioned the age. I mean, 27. He's not old by any means. But do you think there will be any chance they try to lower the carries, or is that just kind of the way it is for a guy like Jonathan Taylor? The more he gets it, the more damage you're going to get and the more he'll do.
I do think that they want to try to take some carries off his plate, but at the same time, every time we talk to Shane Steichen about it, the Colts coach, and he's just like, well, he's really good. So maybe he'll be on the field a whole lot. And honestly, after paying him, I wouldn't expect the Colts to really try to take him off the field, to be honest with you. Like, yes, you want to protect your investment, but they're also in this weird spot where their general manager is going into his last year. Your head coach is going to his 4th year, but hasn't made the playoffs yet. So there's a lot of like do or die things that could happen this season. And if, for example, you're worried about making sure JT, his load isn't too high when you may not be here next year if you don't play the dude, I think that kind of, wins out. So you'll play him a lot. He's coming off a year last year in which he played 82% of the team's offensive snaps. That was a career high for him. So yes, he's a cyborg. He's been incredible, but the touches and the carries, it does make you wonder, especially because unlike a guy like Derrick Henry, who's had a ton of carries in his NFL career, JT's also had them in college. Derrick Henry also really didn't have that many carries over every single season he was at Alabama, whereas with JT, even back in college at Wisconsin, he was getting 300 carries back then too.
Talking all things Indianapolis Colts with James Boyd from The Athletic, as well as 107.5 The Fan in Indianapolis. Now, under center, James, Daniel Jones had a great start to last season, as did the entire team. But as he got injured and was no longer able to take the field, the team sort of took a turn for the worse inside the division and inside the AFC. What is his health looking like here to open up this campaign? Is he going to be ready for week number 1?
Yes, he'll be ready for week number 1. That is the expectation for him. We just talked to him over on our show at 107.5 The Fan, and he's honestly made some remarkable progress with his Achilles. He's about 8 months removed from surgery, so it's pretty crazy to think that a guy who's had basically 2 months less than a year, 8 months to get ready for this is kind of crazy because, years ago, this was a career ender. And even if you look at some other Achilles recoveries, it just hasn't been that short. It's a pretty aggressive timeline for him. But I just keep saying, for those who didn't know or wouldn't know, if you were just coming in as a general fan, no recollection of him getting hurt, you wouldn't be able to tell that he's been hurt throughout training camp. He's been a full go, taking every first team rep. I think the other day he took every single first team rep and also threw like 27 passes. So a pretty hefty workload in one practice for a guy who's, again, coming off Achilles surgery just 8 months ago.
Now, some of the other recent examples of QBs that have, wrecked their Achilles, they're more traditional pocket passer types where maybe the limited mobility coming back right off surgery hasn't been as big of a factor or not as impactful in their game. We know Daniel Jones is a mobile guy, and he likes to use his mobility to make life easier on himself and drive that offense. Is there any concern about that here in the early going, even with this, very speedy recovery that he's made and get himself ready back for game action?
Absolutely. And he can only tell us how he truly feels because to me, I do think there's a difference between being fully cleared to play football and being fully yourself again pre-injury. And so for Daniel, yes, I do think there's some questions about his mobility. And honestly, just being real with you guys, if he can't move like he did through the first half of last season, they're going to be cooked. I mean, their offense really survived a lot on, misdirection and bootlegs and play action and things like that got him out and moving. They didn't really use him as a runner, even though he had some of that ability as well. He actually, I want to say, ran the least he had through the first half of the season last year. But yes, it's very key that he's able to manipulate the pocket, get out of problems. And what I want to see going forward, and we probably won't see it because I doubt that he plays in the preseason, but I want to see those unscripted movements. Like right now, everything's, we know you're going to take 5-step drop. We know you're going to roll out to the right. But like what happens when your pocket collapse and your instincts kick in and say, I got to get out of here and I got to survive? Do you look the same? And are you able to at least sustain some of that throughout the season? And so we'll see how close he is to 100%. That's the next step.
James Boyd from The Athletic covering the Indianapolis Colts here, a guest on The Frenzy on Sports 1440. So into the receiver room, they make the surprise moving on from Michael Pittman Jr. Is this more a testament to how much the staff and the team believes in the likes of Alex Pierce and Josh Downs, or is this an area of concern for this group? Because while Pierce has a lot of potential as a deep threat and stuff, is Pittman's reliability as a mid-range guy and over the middle type threat, is that going to be a big absence in this offense this year?
I do think it'll be a big absence. He led the team in 4 of the last 5 years with catches, so you can't just ignore a guy like that in that production. But the reason why they moved on from Pittman, I know some of the fans were so upset here about that, was that his play had started to decline and his price was still pretty high. I think when they traded him to Pittsburgh, they shed about $25 million in salary and created a ton in salary cap space. And so that money obviously helped them go out and retain Alec Pierce on a huge deal. But the cause for concern right now here in Indianapolis is the fact that Alec Pierce still hasn't practiced. He underwent surgery in late March on his left ankle, had been dealing with some left ankle discomfort, never said specifically what it is, over the last couple of seasons. And so the expectation, at least from general manager Chris Ballard, was, hey, he'll be out 1 to 2 weeks to start camp. Well, we're in the second week of camp, and talking to Shane Steichen the other day, it doesn't sound like he's that close to just returning and being back on the grass and practicing. So It makes me wonder if the Colts will go out and get a veteran receiver. Someone like Keenan Allen comes to mind, in my opinion, just because he played with Shane Steichen years ago with the Chargers. They do run a similar system, and I get that he's old, but I mean, even old Keenan Allen seems to always wake up and get you 500 yards and a couple of touchdowns every year. So I looked at it the other day, actually. I want to say he had 700 receiving yards at least and about 4 touchdowns at least over the last 9 years. And the Colts can really use that because without Alec Pierce out there, the number one receiver right now is Josh Downs, who he's a good player, but I question if he can play on the outside at 5'9". It hasn't really looked like that during camp. And then behind him, there's just a bunch of guys who, in my opinion, feel like number 4 receivers and an established number 3.
Yeah, and I will say Keenan Allen, a huge fan of his. Third and Keenan, he's almost unguardable. He always finds a way to get open. Third and short, he's going to be the guy. Even if you know it's going his way, it's going to work out. Another great pass catching option for the Colts would be Tyler Warren, who burst on the scene last year before the Berlin game. This guy was crushing it. The production slowed down a little bit there, and I think some of that would have to do with the Daniel Jones injury. But what do you think the usage looks like for him this year? Because last season, in his rookie year, over 800 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. It was a heck of a start to his career.
Yeah, heck of a start is honestly an understatement. If you look at the Colts and their receiving yards for tight ends in the season, like you said, he had 817 yards. That was the most in a season, excluding Dallas Clark, who is a Ring of Honor member, and John Mackey, who's a Hall of Famer. So when you're trailing those two guys in your first season, you're doing something pretty well. And that just goes for not just rookie seasons in general in Colts history for a tight end. I do think that Tyler Warren, in the absence of Michael Pittman Jr., could be the focal point of this passing offense. I get that Alec Pierce, when he's healthy and back out there, he'll get his share of the targets. He's still a crazy deep threat. But when it comes to just variety, Tyler Warren can give you a whole lot of that, whether he lines up as a traditional tight end, whether he lines up in a 2 tight end set, and then he's, kind of faking as a blocker and then going out to catch a pass, whether he's lining up just as a wide receiver in the slot if they want to get really funky with some things. I think that his versatility plus Shane's versatility as a play caller really goes hand in hand with some of their creativity. And he's looked great in camp. I mean, as a reporter, you wish he had more personality. He just catches passes and acts like he's a robot, which is fine. I mean, that's good. But every now and then I wish he'd just tell us, yes, we know you're good, and just tell us you're as good as we see.
James Boyd of The Athletic joining us here on The Frenzy, covers the Colts with The Athletic. Now, looking on the defensive side of the football, I loved the move from Chris Ballard last year, going out and bringing in Sauce Gardner. Just looking it up, he's only 24. I know he'll turn 25 later this month, but it feels like he's been in the league for longer than that. How's he looking? I know he had the calf injury. How's he been in camp so far?
Well, 2 things. Number one, yes, he is 24. We got to the bottom of that earlier this summer, did a piece in The Athletic about it because it was wrong everywhere, ESPN, Madden, all these different websites. And so I had to ask him at the end of mini camp, hey, how old are you? And he thought I was the craziest person probably ever. And I was like, are you sure you're this age? And he told me to ask his mom. And I think Mama Gardner, Mama Sauce, is pretty correct on when she brought him into this world. So that story kind of went viral. It was funny, but it's also kind of serious because a year younger for him than what people might think he is good for his career and future contracts, things like that. And as far as him actually being out there on the field, he looks as good as advertised. He's fully healthy. He told us that. He said he really didn't play too much golf or do any, vacation. And if he was on vacation, he was training because he feels like, yes, I'm established. Yes, I've been a 2-time first-team All-Pro, but you all also gave up 2 first-round picks plus a player for me, and I haven't proven myself here yet with the Colts. I got hurt last year, and so I do think he has a chip on his shoulder to go out there and play well. And it's kind of unfair to evaluate him right now because, like I said, Alec Pierce, his college teammate, by the way, at Cincinnati, is not out there, and everyone else he's just been destroying because he's just so much better. The talent gap is so much better. So I'm curious to see how he looks, when they line it up against some really good receivers this year. You got CeeDee Lamb on the schedule. You got Nico Collins, who always kills the Colts. You got Justin Jefferson coming up. Like, how does he look against those guys during the season? But so far, so good for him. And what always amazes me is that he's like 6'2", 6'3", and he's such a big corner, but he moves like he's 5'9", 5'10", just a fluid athlete and a freak athlete.
Colts Vikings. That's hopefully you guys can have a rematch of that 2022 game, which was absolutely
don't remind me.
unbelievable.
Somewhere in my laptop, I still have the version of them winning that game and me going out to dinner early, but didn't happen.
Oh yeah, as a writer, I guess was it 33-0 at halftime? Like, all right, easy second half. Yeah, that story changed quickly. So just on the defense side of the football, before we let you go, outside of Sauce Gardner, we know you need playmakers. Guys got to make the plays to win football games. Who else are the Colts counting on this year?
I think they're looking at their 2024 first-round pick, Laiatu Latu, their edge rusher. He had 8.5 sacks last year, 3 interceptions, ranked second on the team. Most, surprisingly or surprisingly not, among defensive linemen in Colts history in a season. But they don't really care about picks. They want him to get to the guy and sack the quarterback. The Colts have not had a player record double-digit sacks in a season since 2019. It's been quite a while. And don't get me wrong, guys, like he's had a good year and he's had good development, but 10 sacks is not me asking for 20. I mean, 10 sacks is less than 1 a game. And so for a guy who was the first defensive player drafted that year, they need him to make that big jump. And so we'll see. I know he's talked a lot this offseason about trying to turn some of his speed and some of his finesse into more of some power type of moves and having better play strength so he's not so easily discarded. But, yeah, that's the guy they're looking at to be, their home run hitter on the edge. And honestly, if you look at the Colts and you want to finish games, which they just haven't done in recent years, I looked it up the other day during their 5-year playoff drought, they're 18-27 in the months of November, December, and January. And to finish those games, to win in those months, you need guys to close games. They always kind of let teams back into it, or they can't slam the door shut because they can't get that last sack. And so that's what we're looking at to make a big jump, and we'll see if he can do it.
Last one for you, James, as we're talking Colts with James Boyd from The Athletic, and it's about the head coach, Shane Steichen. Now, record in his 3 years of 9-8, 8-9, 8-9. There are a lot of head coaches over the history of the sport that would kill for a 3-year run of that quality, but no playoff appearances. Is Shane Steichen's seat getting on the warmer side, and how much leash does he have maybe in season, or do you think, barring something really bad happening with this club, he makes it through the end of the year regardless?
I think, barring something crazy, Chris Ballard, the general manager, and Shane Steichen, the coach, will get through the season. But if they start 0-5, then maybe that could change some things. But they do their typical 8-9, 9-8, then they probably get through and then they make some changes afterwards. But yeah, I do think his seat is kind of hot, and not because it's all his fault. I don't look at him and put him in the same sort of position as a general manager, but it's hard to justify keeping a coach who, like you just mentioned, if he gets through a 4th season and you don't make the playoffs right now, he's 25-26. So I'm assuming you have a losing record through your first 4 years. How do you keep your job when you haven't really had success at it? And he's been a great play caller. He's got some unfortunate circumstances. He hasn't had the same starting quarterback all year for any of his seasons. So that is a factor as well, the health of Daniel Jones. But yeah, I think Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard, and pretty much everyone knows if we don't perform this year, there could be some big changes going on with Carly Ursay-Gordon, the Colts principal owner, and the oldest daughter of former owner Jim Irsay.
Is she still hanging on the sidelines with the earpiece?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that became such a big deal, and I get why people care about it, but she's been doing it since I've been on the beat, and I joined the beat in 2022. It just became more magnified when she took over as a team owner. But to be clear, she's not on the headset saying, run this play and things like that. She genuinely, and I give her credit for this, and this isn't me sucking up. I don't work for her, but she cares about ball. Like we were sitting at the owners meeting a couple months ago. She's telling us about, hey, I didn't realize when you're in this zone look, it's a little bit different than how you would be in man if you were at this point in the field and things like that. So you really appreciate that. The players appreciate her, curiosity, but it's not like she's sitting there in every meeting going, we must do this. It's just her trying to understand football, which I think anybody can kind of respect that, given that we all probably play Madden or NCAA and try to put our GM hats on and owner hats on from time to time.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely awesome. Like you're running this business, get in there, learn about it. And it's such a complex sport. It's tough to explain football to someone who's not, only wants to know the basic things. To get into all the intricacies, it's crazy. So I thought it was awesome, but that's good to hear. And thanks so much for doing this, James. We appreciate it. And hopefully we can get you on again during the season.
Yeah, anytime, man. I live the radio life, so I get it. So whenever you all need me, just hit me up.
Appreciate it. There you go. James Boyd covers the Colts for The Athletic. Give him a follow on X at Romeoville Kid. Yeah, I remember when that was popping up, this story of Jim Irsay's daughter. It was with, the gear on and the headset, I was like, I'm envious. I would love to just listen to what's going on, what they're saying to the coaches, how it translates. I think it's cool. And maybe more owners should do that. Quickly, Brandon, do you remember that Colts Vikings game?
Vaguely.
Declan and I were doing a Saturday football show. So we were watching it, and we had Britt Prendergast who would come in and make some picks for us. And she was a big Vikings fan. It was 33-0 at halftime for the Colts in Minnesota. And that was the year the Vikings were so up and down. Like they'd win weird, they'd lose weird. And then they slowly were kind of creeping back into it. It was 33-14 going into the fourth quarter. Jefferson touchdown, Thielen touchdown, Dalvin Cook, 64-yard touchdown reception, a one-play drive to tie it up. And then in overtime, the Vikings win it. It was unbelievable. And it was like a close to Christmas game. It was a nice day to sit inside and watch football. But if you're a beat reporter and you're up 33-0, you probably have your story finished. And you're thinking, all right, filing it, leaving right after the game. That was not the case. It was a wild one of the best games, I think, entertainment-wise, that we've seen in a long time. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, more text. We'll also let you know what's coming up on the Lowdown and the Jason Greger Show. It is The Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. A happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions. Beer League Slow Pitch. It's an Alberta summer tradition.
I got shortstop. I'll take pitcher. Yeah, I'm just here for the dugout snacks.
When you're playing on the field, you need serious fuel. And there's only one MVP. Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky and hit a home run with the team. It's the perfect snack for your summer sports.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Greger brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Greger to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Greger. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers The Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Recently, our company's softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhuck Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:47. Welcome back to the Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhockbeefjerky.com. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Donovan Paulson, young Connor in studio here. Text us 1-833-401-1440 or email. You just email me, Connor at sports1440.ca or Brandon at sports1440.ca. Couple texts to get to quickly. Bruce says, so the Colts guy is saying that keeping Tyler Warren as my 8th rounder in PPR is a good idea. Good to know. Yeah, Bruce, I think that'd be a very good idea. The way he started last year, he had 112 targets, 70 something receptions. I would definitely be hanging on to Mr. Warren.
Where do you stack him up in your tight end fantasy power rankings, Cons?
So we got to go Trey McBride number 1, right?
I think so.
If he's tier 1, who's with him? He and Brock Bowers?
I think Bowers is there. So because the quarterback, look at how Bowers has produced so far in Vegas. Whether it's Cousins or Mendoza, it's going to be better than what he's had so far.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no doubt in my mind.
And then I'd probably have in that next tier, Loveland.
Like Warren and Loveland?
Yeah.
What about Kittle? Are you still, especially, well, I guess Debo's back, but is the Ricky Pearsall's injured? Is the lack of receiver options in San Fran boosting your Kittle stock at all?
Well, the substation, man.
It's getting everyone. Deshaun Stripling
it's
down.
People. Have you seen the account on X?
It's got over 10,000 followers.
They list their injuries. He's good day today.
Yeah. I saw a picture today that was just obviously photoshopped or maybe even AI. I don't know. Where it was because it's always in the background of all these pictures, and they just replaced it with Mordor.
Yeah. Or every day it's just getting bigger and more in the photos.
Yes, taking over half the field.
I'm staying away from the Niners. Someone else kind of made the joke that it's actually Christian McCaffrey using it to collect the health of every other player.
Yeah, it's blood magic.
And then someone posted a picture of Stranger Things when he's in there. Yeah. It's fun meme stuff. Niners fans probably don't love it, but I might take a flyer on Kittle. But there's those top tiers. Tucker Kraft, I think, would be up there as well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm disagreeing with any of the names that you've thrown out there so far. Does rookie Kenyon Sadiq interest you at all, or is the Jets too much of an unknown offensively and just generally?
Keeper league, maybe.
Keeper league, dynasty league. I think he'll be one of the top names off the board in a dynasty draft here coming up in the next few weeks. And then we touted his praises a lot last year, but I think Harold Fannin Jr. in Cleveland is a good middle, next, call it third tier of tight end options. If a lot of those names we just ran over occupy the top couple, the first handful or half dozen guys off the board, I think Harold Fannin Jr. should be amongst the next group, probably the top of it, to be frank.
Sticking with the fantasy, Rodrigo texted in and said, hey guys, since we got the fantasy starting soon, I played in a 12-team keeper league last year. I finished dead last. Brutal year for me, so I get the first pick. I want to ask for either Bijan, Christian McCaffrey, or Jahmyr Gibbs. Are any of those players worth a first-round pick? So, Rodrigo, is that the first overall pick? I would say 2 out of 3 for sure. I if you took Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs or got them for the first pick, I would be happy with it. Christian McCaffrey, I'm a little less confident in, but if you got him later on, like he'd still be a great pick. Because we got another text here. Kyle says, in my redraft league, I am picking 6th. Do I go McCaffrey or stay away? Like that's kind of the ballpark, I think, where I would be going for McCaffrey. The other two, I'd be all over. I'm a Gibbs guy, but I love Bijan too. How about you, Deck? Duke.
Wow, it's just the name game continues around here.
What's happening?
We're living in the upside down. Nobody knows each other's names.
I've been working with Declan a lot lately.
It's totally understandable.
Deck Duke.
Yeah, I just have a little bit more affinity for Gibbs. I know I took the Robinson side in 3 rounds yesterday just for the sake of conversation and trying to see both sides. But I'm a Gibbs guy. This is my last year of having Gibbs in my keeper league before I got to put him back into the middle of the pot, and I'm hoping he can. And without Montgomery there to snake a few more touches, like Isaiah Pacheco is solid, but I really think that they might really turn Gibbs loose to be the no doubter centerpiece of this offense with Jared Goff distributing, because both guys are so good in the pass game too, right?
Yeah.
And we know that the Lions still have Laporta and Amon-Ra and
Jamison Williams.
Will, right, as your speed option. But I think that's going to all run second fiddle to the ball in Jahmyr Gibbs' hands.
MTR says McCaffrey was more healthy than your young running back last year. Well, yeah, we're not talking about Omar and Hampton, though. We're talking about Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs. And the Chargers always have health injuries. That's just going to happen. And it probably will happen again this year. Let us have our fun with our substation. It's a funny joke. A funny vibe to go with. Aaron says, just checking in again if you guys are doing a fantasy draft or fantasy league. Yeah, we will. We'll probably start taking entries maybe mid-August. Give people plenty of time if they want to get in on it. And then we'll do the draw the week before and then do our draft probably the Tuesday night. I think that's kind of what we've done in the past here. We'll have to decide on the charity. I know, you know what, maybe we'll let the winner pick the charity. I know last year we did the run for the cure that I was doing.
Oh,
and that was pretty cool.
Did you run?
I was walking for the cure.
Did you run hard?
We could do that again. We'll have to wait and see. But for sure, we will be doing another fantasy football league. Despite dropping the fantasy from our name, it's a lot of fun. Duke and I will take one team, and then we'll open it up to 11 other teams. You can buy 1 ticket and try to get in. You could buy 5 tickets and try to get in. I think we'll do $20.
You could buy 100 tickets.
Could you imagine?
No.
That would be so funny because we would be like drawing that person's name out so many times.
Yeah. I wonder at that point we'd have to turn into a digital format where there's a way to say, all right, this person is once drawn, eliminate all their other entries.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we would spend the full hour just pulling it. What if they didn't get in?
Yeah. Well, like MTR the first year, but I want to say it was 5 to 7 entries and didn't get in. By the end, I was hoping. And then last year, I was really hoping he'd get in because it couldn't be 2 in a row.
Then there might start to be some accusations of collusion or something.
Yeah. EG says, I think Jalen McMillan is going to surprise people. Godwin's injury prone in 31. Buka there too as well. But yeah, I don't mind that one. Hold on. What's the new name from Tiger? Well, it's just the frenzy. We just dropped 1 letter or 1 word. It's close. Franchise you want in. We'll get more information as we lead up to it. We'll start taking entries on the 15th. How about that? Is the 15th? That's a Saturday. Maybe the 14th. Maybe the 18th. I don't know. Mid-August.
Stay tuned to find out.
Tune in tomorrow at 11 for more information. For everyone here, thanks for joining us. Check the podcast if you missed it. Before we hand things over to Low Tide, we got a Sports 1440 update with the Duke, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get a $25 voucher. Get your half-season pass today at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 10 of the CFL kicking off tonight from Toronto with the 3-4 Argonauts taking on the 4-4 Calgary Stampeders, getting underway at 5:30 Mountain Time. From the Rough Riders camp, some injury news as the team has placed Samuel Emilius, Keon Schaefer-Baker, and Tavon Campbell all on the 6-game injured list. NFL preseason game number 1 getting underway from Canton, Ohio tonight between the Cardinals and the Panthers for the Hall of Fame contest. Once again, kickoff at 6. And in case you missed it earlier this morning, Indianapolis Colts and Jonathan Taylor coming to terms on a 2-year, $44 million extension that includes $39 million guaranteed. This is the third largest deal for a running back in NFL history. NHL, offseason news. Pittsburgh Penguins extending RFA forward Ville Koivunen on an 8-year deal carrying an AAV of $4 million. The 23-year-old Finn spent last season split between the Penguins and their AHL affiliate. 2 goals and 5 assists in 39 NHL contests. Across the majors today, the Blue Jays make a pit stop in Chicago against the Cubs. First pitch coming up just after the top of the hour. Dylan Cease will take the hill for Toronto. Elsewhere, Angels led the Orioles 3-1 in the top of the 5th. Middle of the 5th, Athletics and Reds are tied at 3. Mets currently have 4-2 on the Guardians in top 3. And still to come today, Red Sox v. the White Sox. And the Padres take on the D-backs in the evening's finale. CEBL playoff action underway tonight from across the country, including the Edmonton Stingers taking on the Vancouver Bandits from the left coast. Tip-off, 8 o'clock. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440.